Today I want to discuss one of the most interesting